If you're struggling with overwhelm and constantly fighting a to-do list that seems to get longer and longer all the time, and at the same time you're missing important things that you need to do in your life, then this video is for you. First of all, welcome back to the channel. My name is Toby and I'm here exploring how we can live that hybrid dad lifestyle. That is dads who are busy at work, but also busy with family life and navigating all of those, whilst at the same time finding time for ourselves so we don't get lost in all the busyness. And one concept that I've talked to many dads about that has really changed the way that we are approaching how we stay productive, but not just for productivity's sake, so not about hustling, but really staying productive and finding meaningful ways of engaging with the things we need to do, is something called the Zeigarnik Effect. Zeigarnik is the name of a psychologist from the early 1910s. So Zeigarnik was a psychologist in the early 20th century, and what she did is she was observing how we have something called open and closed loops in our mind, and how we are very good at keeping open loops in our mind, but they're counter to what we actually need to do, which is closing loops. So speaking about this study, the way to think about it is, if you are in a big group of people and you're going to a restaurant, say it's 8 of you, you're going to a restaurant, and undoubtedly there will be different dietary requirements. Somebody wants sauce with that dish, the other person is vegetarian and the other person is gluten-free, right? And waiters, when they come, and assuming they don't have an iPad, assuming they don't have a notepad, and they're just keeping it in their mind. And what they found is waiters were incredibly good at remembering the order. And they weren't just good at remembering the order when the order was taken, but they were able to remember it throughout the service, right? So straight through the main course and dessert. They always knew who had ordered what special requirements they had, and so on and so forth. But then when the people said, well, we want to pay, right? Can we have the check, please? Suddenly they found that the memory of the waiters was dropping rapidly. They would forget things. They wouldn't remember the main dish somebody had, or they wouldn't remember the special requirements somebody had. And that made the researchers realize that there's something there where our brain is incredibly good at keeping open loops, but as soon as a loop is closed, we forget things. So the reason that relates to us today, especially in the context of trying to be more productive, but more importantly, live a calmer and more meaningful life, is that we need to understand that our brains are programmed to keep open loops. But the problem here is that we're very bad normally with our habits and systems to close the loops, which is what we really need to be doing. So if we don't act on the things that we need to do, if we're not very good at writing a cohesive to-do list, and also being good at delegating and planning out into the future, then our brain will constantly remember the things that we haven't done yet. And even if you write it down, but you have a scattergun approach, so you've got post-it notes, you're using your phone, maybe you're emailing yourself something, but your brain realizes that it can't trust the system that you've put in place because it really isn't a system, then this is another open loop. So your brain will continuously try and remember the things that need to be done, and it won't be able to rest. And the times when you physically try and rest, like lying in bed at night, it will come up with all these things that you haven't done yet. And it will remind you that, hang on, you haven't paid this person, you haven't sent that email, you didn't book that ticket, you still need to do X, Y, and Z. And that just stresses people out, right? Because we're then thinking, oh, how am I going to get all of this done? And it's the middle of the night, I should be sleeping. So what can we do about it? So the thing to do about that is realize that this is happening. I've got open loops going on. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a brain dump first of all. Write down everything. Take some time, but write out everything that you need to do. Yes, you can put it into certain folders, as in work things, family things, personal, whatever it might be. But the most important thing is just get it all out of your head. And normally once you start doing a brain dump like that, you'll end up having a very comprehensive list, because certain things will trigger other things that you might have not done yet. Once you've written all of this down, we're then going to order it, right? So we're going to make sure that it is in those different categories of your life. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use something called the Eisenhower Matrix. And the Eisenhower Matrix, what it is a 4x4 square system where you've got, and you're going to rank things by whether they're urgent or not urgent, or whether they're important or not important. And that will give you something. That will give you a very clear direction of things that you must do, and you must do as soon as possible. It will give you things that must be done, but you can delegate it. It doesn't need to be you who's doing those things. It will give you things that you have to do. Nobody else can do it, but they can be scheduled, they can be planned. And it will give you things that are neither urgent nor important, and you should really be deleting those off your list. Once we have that, we then need to plan out exactly when we're going to do things, what are the urgent things that you need to act on now as soon as possible, and then design a system where you regularly do a brain dump like that, where you regularly review your inbox and really find an inbox system for your thoughts, ideas, to-dos that you can trust. Use your built-in reminders app on your phone. That's really all you need. And then once a week, you're going to sit down and you're going to look at what did I do last week and what can I do or what should I be doing next week to ensure that I follow through with the list of things that I need to get done. And the last thing I would say is it's really good to time block and put the important things, the projects that need to be done on a certain day by you in your calendar. Not just your to-do list, block all the time. Because most of the time we will ensure that we will go to our meetings, have the phone calls and do the work things that are in our calendar. But if we don't block our time to do the important things in our calendar, they will just fall down the list because other people's demands on our time will take priority. So you need to ensure that you put that in first. So the big lesson here is realizing we're very good at open loops, at keeping them running in our head, but they are causing us to feel overwhelmed and stressed. And an easy way through it is to work on closing loops, building a system that you can trust, and then act on it regularly, review it regularly, and adjust it accordingly. And if you need any help with that, on my website I've got a free course that helps you with some of those early stage productivity overwhelm feelings, as well as finding a bit more balance in your life. It's all free. You can go ahead and click the link below. Otherwise, I would love for you to obviously subscribe here and leave in your comments how you found a bit more time maybe in the week to focus on the big projects that move your life forward and make you feel a bit less stressed. See you in the next one.